Hi guys, welcome! In this video, we'll take a closer look at the Stellar Hunters SP build for PvP in Episode 7. Before, Rangers builds were only divided into 3, ADL, Trapper, and Warrior. But because of the transition to the 4th job class and introduction of the skilled star arrows, we've seen the meta for PvP and GVG change into the overpowered SP build. I'll be discussing with you guys my recommendations on the stats, skills, runes, equipment cards, and tips to help you build your own SP Stellar Hunter. With this guide, I hope you can dominate PvP and GVG events even with low budget equipment. Before I begin though, I'd like to give special thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Raid is a turn-based dark fantasy RPG that I've been playing recently. It's free to play and is available for both mobile and PC. It's a hero collection game which offers a wide range of options for creating synergies and tactics. If you go to Index, we'll find the champions organized into 16 factions, all with their unique affinities, roles, and skill sets. One of the notable factions here is the Orcs, which houses fierce brute warriors. My favorite from this faction is Shaman, which I actually got for free from the 7-day login reward. She is an epic support type champion which has various buffs and debuff skills. Another thing I like about her is that she can resurrect a fallen ally and give a shield buff at the same time. I think being able to resurrect an ally is a huge advantage, especially for difficult campaigns or battles. Now speaking of battles, a brand new feature has been launched in the game, which is a tag team arena. This takes competition PvP battles to the next level. Unlike the single 4 vs 4 battle in Classic Arena, the tag team arena is a series of free 4 vs 4 battles. Whoever wins 2 battles wins the series and would boost their rank. Huge rewards await those who manage to rank high, so you better not miss a tag team arena. If you guys would like to try Raid Shadow Legends, check out the links in the description box down below. As a gift for new players, using the link below will give you 100,000 silver and a champion for free. You'll be able to get a Dark Elf Hex Weaver, which is a rare support type champion. Note that you'll get these rewards in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First, let's take a look at the Star Arrow skill. At level 5, this active buff skill turns your arrows into meteors, which will decrease your current SP by 5% every 2 seconds. In return, each auto attack will cost the enemy to lose HP based on this formula. Current SP times 5% times your total int stat. That means you only need to maximize your total SP and int to deal damage with Star Arrows. Physical and magic attack, penetration, and damage increased stats won't affect the damage of this skill. What's good about Star Arrows compared to doing ADL builds critical attacks is that it deals true damage, meaning the damage inflicted is not reduced by the enemy's defense and damage reduction stat. However, in a future update, probably in the next 2 to 3 months time or so, the damage of Star Arrows can be reduced by refined def, which will make it more balanced. This buff lasts for 30 seconds and it cannot be dispelled. It will only stop in advance if your SP is already 0. There are only a few skills that can counter Star Arrows, such as Carry Alason, Light Shield, Neutral Barrier, Tuna Party, and White Barrier. Aside from this, another advantage of this SP build is that you can still utilize normal critical attacks, Trap, and Falcon skills to further increase your overall damage output and to inflict abnormal statuses to enemies. Lastly, upgrading the Star Arrows Exorcism Enhancement skill will also reduce the enemy's current SP, which can prevent them from using any skill. Now let's discuss the recommended stat distribution. Of course, the stat that you need to max out to 159 points first is int, as it is the primary stat that increases max SP. After that, put enough points on Agi, which will help you maintain 480% attack speed. As for the remaining points, I prefer placing it on luck to trigger blitz speed more often, causing stagger effect. In addition, luck also increases crit rate, which prevents high flee enemies from avoiding normal attacks. Next, let's discuss the skill distribution. For the archer skills, you should allocate points on level 10 Vulture's Eye, level 5 Ankle Snare, level 10 Owl's Eye, level 10 Elemental Arrow, and level 5 Arrow Repel. Next, for the hunter skills, we have level 10 Improved Concentration, level 10 Blitz Speed, level 5 Falcon Assault, level 10 Beast Mastery, level 3 Claymore Trap, and level 2 Detonator. Next, for the sniper skills, we have the following: level 10 Trap Research, level 1 True Sight, Level 5 Fairy Awakening, Level 10 Hunting Assault, Level 5 Stun, Level 5 Sandman Trap, and Level 4 Windwalk. Once you've reached Drop Breakthrough, you may allocate the additional skill points on the following: Level 10 Fairy Awakening, Level 8 Detonator, Level 10 Windwalk, Level 20 Improved Concentration, and Level 3 Lightning Arrow. Next, for the third job skills of Ranger, prioritize getting Level 15 Exceed Break, Level 10 Fear Breeze, Level 10 Nature's Protection, and Level 3 Track and Prey. As for the remaining 22 skill points, allocation is up to you. It will depend on which other source of damage you want to increase, such as Trap, Beast, or normal attack damage. Lastly, get Level 20 Force Focus for additional 10,000 max HP. And lastly, for the fourth job Origin skills, prioritize getting Level 9 Meteor Fission, which splits your auto attack to enemies near the target, Level 5 Star Arrows, and the enhancement skill Star Arrows Exorcism, which will be your main source of damage. Level 9 Extreme Cold Star Core, which is useful against enemies that have freeze immunity. Level 5 Star's Guardian, and the enhancement skill Star Guardian CD for protection against abnormal status and increased elemental damage reduction. Level 5 Twinkling Stars, and the enhancement skill Twinkling Stars Shadowless, which allows you to teleport backwards and gain higher flee and movement speed. Level 5 Star Searching Trap for removing enemies' hiding status. And lastly, if you have remaining time, Quicksand, just get all the remaining trap skills. Next, let's discuss the most important runes to get. For the Aesir Monument runes, you should prioritize activating Int Refining, Exceed Break Mastery, and Max SP nodes to increase the damage of Star Arrows. As for the other runes, just activate those that cost debuff or improve your survivability in the battlefield, such as Falcon Clearance, Survival Refining, Max HP %, and Nature's Protection. Next, you may also get Blitz Beat runes, since the stagger effect of your beast can prevent enemies from counter-attacking. Lastly, for your excess gold medals, you may opt to get runes that increase the damage of traps, beasts, and normal attacks, since they will also increase your overall damage output. For the advanced runes, you can use the following skill runes: Shadow Tracking Class S rune to gain vision on hiding enemies and to snare them when being attacked. Forest Elf Class S rune, which can trigger hiding when you receive damage and thus help in survivability. Craftsman's Class S rune, which allows you to place minefield near the enemies and thus help in crowd control. You may also use Detonate to trigger damage. Rapid Shoes Class A rune, which is useful against other stellar hunters. And Death Trap Class B rune, which grants up to 10 int. The 2 new star runes coming in the next patch update will also be very useful for the SP build. Finally, for the attribute runes, prioritize upgrading the following. For the red attack runes, there is none that will increase the damage of star arrows directly, so just level up your Destruction, Penetration, Armor Breaking, Berserk, and Illusion runes, which can increase the damage of auto attack, beasts, and traps. Then for the yellow buff runes, we have Int, Agi, Luck, and Size runes. And for the blue Death runes, we have Spiritual Power rune for more SP. Up next, let's dive into the recommended equipment set and cards. For a weapon, you may use the Freezing Bow, which has a chance of freezing enemies which will not break even when attacking. It is very cheap and does not require a high refinement level. This is good against enemies who do not have 100% freeze resistance, or in combination with the Extreme Cold Star Core skill. Another good weapon for this build is Moonlight Goddess, which is a synthesized version of Luna Bow. It grants plus 15 int and 200 max SP. When combined with Luna Brooch or Bright Moon, it gives plus 4 int and plus 60 SP. As for enchantment, just aim for a high int and max SP stats. As for weapon cards, you can use the Metal Pouring card for Strip Accessory effect, Mandragora Seed card for Fear effect, Skeleton card for Stun effect, or Marina card for increased chance to freeze, plus additional 25% damage to frozen target when another Marina card is deposited. If you have budget and can afford MVP cards, then I suggest getting Stormy Night card for 20% chance of freezing enemies that ignore freeze immunity. It also grants a chance to cast Storm Gust when doing auto attacks, which is good for zoning the enemies. Other options are Spashar the Dead card for plus 500 and plus 10% max SP, or Dracula card for recovering SP based on the damage dealt by your normal attacks, but not including the damage of star arrows. For the offhand, the most suitable for this build is the Statue of Mother Mary. Aim for at least plus 10 refinement, which grants plus 4 int, plus 300 max SP, and plus 10% max SP. If you have high budget, then get it to plus 15 refinement and synthesize it to Holy Mother's Radiance, which grants a total of plus 6 int, plus 300 max SP, and plus 41% max SP. As for enchantment, just aim for a high int and max SP percent stat. For offhand card, Wood Goblin card is the best in slot for increasing damage, as it grants 20% max SP. If you don't have this one, then you can use Mark card for immunity to freeze effect. But take note that freeze immunity can be ignored by Stormy Night card, Garm card, and the Extreme Cold Star core skill. For armor, the most suitable for this build is the plus 10 Chosen's Gown, which grants plus 10 int, plus 500 max SP, and plus 16% max SP. Refining it to plus 15 grants additional 10% max SP. An alternative to this is a Blanking Coat, since it grants plus 10 int and plus 800 max SP. Similar with offhand, you should aim for a high int and max SP percent stats in the enchantment. As for the armor cards, the current best in slot is the Mao Guai Calvin card, as it gives plus 10% max SP. However, it would still be difficult to get one, as it's still newly released. Other suitable alternatives are Devil's Eye card for plus 2% max SP, and Evil Druid Star card for plus 5 int. For garment, there is none that can increase max SP and int for Stellar Hunters, so I suggest using a plus 10 Blue Eve cape, since it is quite cheap and can enhance attack speed significantly. With this, you can allot less points on Agi and use the extra points on other attributes instead. As for enchantment, aim for a high max SP percent stat. And then for garment card, you may use a Muka Star card for plus 200 max SP, a Dremlin card for plus 100 max SP, or Celebration Collection card for plus 3 to all attributes. However, since the max SP and int these cards give is quite low, you may opt to use defensive cards instead, such as Orc Zombie Start card. For footgear, the Mama Shoes would be the best option, as it gives plus 200 max SP, plus 3% max SP at plus 10 refinement, another 3% max SP at plus 15 refinement. Similar with the garment, you should also aim for a high max SP percent stat in the enchantment. As for the footgear card, you may either use a Sohi card for plus 15% max SP, or Veret card for plus 8% max HP and plus 8% max SP. If you have high budget, then you can use Miss Tani card for plus 50% max SP but reduces your max HP by 30%. For accessories, you may choose any of the following. First is the Morpheus ring, which grants plus 8 int, plus 100 max SP, and plus 4% max SP. Refining it to plus 12 is quite expensive, but it is recommended for additional 6% max SP. A cheaper option is the Bright Moon with any refinement level, since it gives plus 8 int and plus 405 max SP. As mentioned earlier, pairing it with Moonlight Goddess gives plus 4 int and plus 60 max SP. Lastly, you can also use the Ring of Loyalty, which gives a total of 600 max SP at plus 10 refinement, and an extra 200 max SP at plus 15 refinement. As for enchantment, just aim for a high int and max SP stat. And then for accessory cards, you may inlay a Wormtail card for plus 4 int, or a Wraith Star card for increased chance and duration of freeze effect. Lastly, for the headgears, these are my suggestions. For the head, the most suitable to use is the Gentleman Top Hat, which grants plus 2 to all attributes and plus 5% max SP. Ideally, it should be refined to plus 10 for additional 10% max SP. Other options are the Vice Chief's Heroism from last month's Feast Gacha and Gloomy Witch's Headwear. For headwear cards, there are various options depending on the situation, such as Igira Star card for a chance of inflicting fear effect, Marduk card for immunity to silence, Nightmare card for immunity to sleep, or Orc Hero card for immunity to stun. You may also equip a Ride Word card for plus 5 int. For the face, a plus 10 Trial Night Vision is currently the best in slot since it gives plus 150 SP and plus 10% max SP. Other options are Solar Laurel from Feats Gacha or Dragon Scale Stripe. For the mouth, you may use any gear that gives max SP or ints such as Sunflower Lollipop, Fantasy Flute, Voice of Ocean, or Silver Deer Tail. For the back, the best option is Sperm Demon as it is very cheap to craft and gives 10% max SP. And lastly, for the tail, I suggest using any gear that grants max SP and int such as Lucky Piglet, Memory Secret Book, Kakasha Book, and Saint Gabriel. In 6 vs 6 PvP competition, you may use the Red Scale Fighter item which grants plus 100% max SP. You need to reach Legend tier to purchase this item. As for Headwear enchantment, you should aim for int and max SP stats. Take note that these are just the gears that can increase the damage output of star arrows, which is more of a glass cannon build. In PvP, it's always better to balance offensive with defensive stats, so feel free to tweak this build for improving the survivability of your character. Lastly, here are some additional tips you need to take note of. First, for your auto skill setup, just put in auto attack and then place all buffs in prepare for elites such as True Sight, Wind Walk, Exceed Break, Meteor Fission, and Star Arrows. I also prefer putting Extreme Cold Star Core in auto skill to initiate my attacks. You can then place the other crowd control skills in your manual skill bar such as Ankle Snare, Minefield, and Falcon Assault. I also place Detonator and manual skill bar to activate all traps whenever I place Minefield. It is also important to play Star's Guardian for immunity to abnormal status and Twinkling Stars to escape from sticky situations. Next, for 6 vs 6 PvP arena skills, it's important to take level 4 Steel Body, which allows you to restore 2% max SP per second. And again, as mentioned earlier, you need to use the Red Scale Fighter Tail item which grants plus 100% max SP. Next, we have pets. The most useful pet in PvP and GVG is either a Boon or Osiris due to their resurrection skill. You may also use pets which increase int and max SP for higher damage, such as Marten Scavenger, Scour, Dancing Dragon, and Spraying Tiger Baby. Next, we have the consumable items you can get before going into battle. To boost DPS, you may consume Awakening Potion and int, Agi, and Luck Meal B. For cooked foods, you may consume Original Will Steak for immunity to crowd control, Original Will Green Barbecue for anti-death blow, or Original Will Broth for attack speed. To sustain SP in regular PvP and GVG, bring stacks of honey, candy, and apple juice. Lastly, since freezing enemies change their element to water, it's good to use wind arrows in battle. Next, for guild prayers and blessings, just prioritize getting defensive stats since there is none that can increase int and max SP. And for my last and final tip, you need to invest in int and max SP in your adventure handbook to boost your star arrow damage. You can also multi-job and level up to the following job classes that increase int. Alright, so far we discussed our recommended stats, skills, runes, equipment, cards, and tips for the SP build of Stellar Hunter. I hope that with this guide you can now use Stellar Hunter more efficiently in PvP. Even with the upcoming patch which will balance this skill, I think there's good potential for this build to remain strong. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love you to consider subscribing by hitting the red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.